a post-Trump world, would someone as unqualified, incompetent, and corrupt as Frances Suarez have the shamelessness or the delusion to run for president? Magatov to Frances Suarez.
What are the odds that he's actually really, really thinking about running for president versus using this as some sort of stepping stool, name recognition, statewide raise, any other kind of thing, and trying to take advantage of DeSantis sort of falling off to the right?
Yeah, follow the money. Absolutely. I mean, this is like everything else that Frances Suarez does. This is a con. We call him Ponzi Postalita because he is a con man. Nearly everything he says is a lie. And everything he does is to exploit his public position for private profit of not only himself, but of his cronies, his benefactors, his family. And so absolutely, this is not a legitimate effort to run for president.
Right.
This is a scheme. First, it's ego and money. Right. Let's start there. This is a man who is currently under FBI investigation for bribery. And this is only, and this is one incident of bribery of which there are likely countless. We can get into that later. But this is a guy with such an ego that Francis is the type of guy, he just hopes that they spell his name right on the indictment. OK, so first and foremost, he's definitely in it to raise his name recognition and to get his face out there, no doubt. But also he's raised a lot of money from, first and foremost, real estate developers, lobbyists, lawyers, special interests in the city of Miami for whom he has exploited his position to curry favor in the city for these private clients of his. And then he started when the crypto cowboys came into Miami during this crazy boom and bust cycle with all the shit coin and the pump and dump schemes. Frances Suarez was in fact a crypto bro who promoted his own pump and dump scheme in Miami coin, which over the course.
If you could explain, because even as politically astute as Jen and I are, I still don't fully understand what Mayor Suarez did with this Miami coin. It looked like the biggest deliberate pump and dump scheme I have ever seen in my life. And the reality is there's still not enough information I think a lot of us have in terms of what he did, how he has been able to get away with it, and will he continue to get away with it?
Well, over the course of this bizarre explosion of cryptocurrency, there was something like over 20,000 of these shit coins, as they're known, that came on the scene. These are not products that had any sort of utility. They were not currencies in any meaningful way. They were simply unregistered securities, purely speculative, or to be used for illicit transactions. Those are basically the only thing you could. And honestly, most of those coins, though, you couldn't use for illicit transactions. People were doing that with Bitcoin and Ethereum, the more popular cryptocurrencies. But this was just one of many. And what City Coins came up with was a scheme of, we're going to brand and mine coins that take the names of various cities. New York coin, Austin coin, Chicago coin, Miami coin. And so what we're going to do is we're going to basically exploit those brands, the city brand, and we're going to give a little donation to the city on top of that. And what that was an effort to do was to try to enlist mayors, of which they really only got one. Eric Adams came close, but not quite. But really, they only convinced one. And that's what's so unique here, is that you had a mayor who was already a con man, who put a for sale sign out in front of City Hall and said, give us your schemers, your Ponzi's, your con men, your scams, and we will embrace that here in Miami. And so it was a pump and dump scheme. It was simply a shit coin for which the city got a little bit piece of the action. Now, what we probably don't have the full picture on yet, and I would love for the SEC, as they have twice. City of Miami is one of the only cities in the entire country to be investigated by the SEC twice. I think it's high time we had a third investigation. They are, in fact, investigating the mayor and one particular real estate developer that the mayor was literally on the payroll of. It's so crazy. There's so much of this to get into, but to just put the button on Miami Coin, I believe that Frances Suarez was getting paid directly. And when I say that, it's because Frances Suarez is allowed, as are the city commissioners, to have outside employment. He is considered a ceremonial mayor, a part-time mayor, despite the fact that he receives a compensation package worth over $130,000 a year, plus perks, plus courtside seats to the Heat, plus VIP to F1, et cetera, plus over $1 million to take police officers off the street as his private Tauntaun Makut, his own security service, despite the fact that the police department says that there are no known threats against him. Despite all this, he's a part-time mayor and he's allowed outside employment. He works for a law firm with a very active Bitcoin and blockchain, crypto practice. He works as a lobbyist for real estate developers. He works at a fund that works in the real estate world. Everything in Florida, as you know, is usually a real estate hustle. If you can't figure out what's going on, look at the real estate angle if you can. But the point is that Frances Suarez claims that his client list is privileged. It's secret. We have no idea who his clients are. I've never heard of an attorney. Mostly you go to a law firm or an attorney's webpage and they proudly list their clients. They use that as a marketing tool. Here, he keeps them a secret because every time we learn about one, there's some insane, possibly criminal conflict of interest. And so that's why when you're wondering what the hell happened here with this Miami Coin, it's probably, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Miami Coin, City Coin, Stacks, one of the people behind this product was most likely a private client of Francis or his law firm, and he directly, privately profited from this scheme.
And, you got to really wonder. We saw a lot of things that Governor DeSantis has been doing. And obviously he took it to a 12 after it became clear that he was going to run for president. We saw the pay-to-play options that he's been running, the gamut with. We saw what happened down in Key West with the docking situation. But honestly, the type of just out in the open, brazen corruption that this mayor displays on the regular is absolutely incredible. Now, I'm not going to compare in any way, what Ken Russell did, but it was pretty obvious to me that when he was sitting on the city council and decided, well, now I'm going to run for the U.S. Senate for the state of Florida, I'm looking at that thinking, okay, something's clearly going on here. He's clearly got some ace up his sleeve. He's going to try some move, and sure enough, he ends up running for Congress. And, Elvira Salazar is going to have that seat as long as she wants it. Point being is that he was schemish, if you will, in terms of what he's doing. That is going to look like child's play compared to whatever the hell Suarez is up to, which, again, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts as to what this might ultimately lead to? We know he's not going to poll. If he polls 1%, that's going to be amazing. He's going to poll in the negative numbers like Chris Christie, as far as I'm concerned. But there's got to be a reason he's doing this. Is he trying to build some type of financial coffer to potentially, I don't know, challenge Rick Scott in the GOP primary? I don't know, but I'm curious what you think it might be about.
Yeah, I mean, well, Jen got it. He's raising his profile. If by some outside chance there is a second Trump administration, I think he's hoping to maybe be, the kind of Mayor Pete, if you will, of that operation. The difference being is that Frances Suarez is not only no Rhodes Scholar, but he didn't even graduate at the top of his class from Florida International University. So not a very impressive figure in any meaningful way. Not to mention Republicans hate him. So you already have, his Donald Trump's caddy, Congressman Carlos Jimenez in Trump's ear going, this guy's a total fraud. And he's taking credit for all the strides that the Republicans have legitimately made politically and electorally in the state and in this county. He's trying to take credit for them, which is absolutely insane. But also, I was saying before, he's raised all this money, Francis, and there's all these C4 schemes. Like in order to shake that money loose and be able to misappropriate that money and hire your friends and family and contractors and special interests and get kickbacks back to you, you got to run a campaign. All of these campaigns. This is not, by the way, this is not a partisan statement. Most campaigns are money-making schemes, are siphons for various consultant class, the consultant cowboys, as I call them, to come in and shake the money tree. So that's part of what this is, I think, is to shake the money loose. Lastly, I think Francis is not going to spend too much of that money, however, or misappropriate or steal too much of that money, because I think he's going to come back to Miami, where, incidentally, if he's so popular here, why did he announce his presidential campaign 3,000 miles away in California? We can get to that in a bit. I'm putting a lot of stuff on the back burner to get to later, but to finally kind of wrap it up, is he's obviously, to Peter's point, looking to run for something else. The next available major executive position would be the Miami-Dade County mayor, which is, I think, inaccurately, but known as the second most powerful position in the state of Florida. It is a $10 billion annual budget. It is a strong mayor, an executive mayor position. You're running a company with essentially something like 40,000 plus employees. It's an impressive gig. So it's possible he may do that. It's also extremely likely that he will run for governor at some point in the near future when DeSantis turns out.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.